The recording button. There we go. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 12th edition of the Women Supporting Women series. Tonight is part two of the limited series, the Riders series, inside the Women Supporting Women platform. So, my name is Nadine. I'm the founder of the Second Wind Facebook group for women empty nesters who are finding new purpose by reconnecting with their passions and their dreams and putting joy back in their lives after the children have left the nest. So tonight, we continue to empower the writers and the aspiring writers of the Second Wind community to share their personal stories, their gift of writing, and to share some samples of their work, their literary work, that is. So this series happens every Friday until February 20th. And tonight we have the pleasure of welcoming Susan Page to the platform. Susan, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so nice to see you here.
I'm
And it's,
glad to be here.
yeah. So Susan is a retired lawyer who returned to her childhood interest in poetry once she had raised her family and retired from working. She spent most of her career as a prosecutor in Albuquerque, New Mexico, her hometown, handling the kinds of cases that never get on television. She specialized in misdemeanors and probation violations with a special emphasis on the intersection of mental illness and criminal law. Susan has written two books for her families and friends and is working on several others. She writes poetry on a daily basis, frequently entering local poetry contests and attending a weekly writing group at a local art center that helps her learn to use literary constraints to shape her work. For the past 3 years, she has been writing 52-word poems, sometimes several in a row. So, without further ado, Susan, I'm so glad that you're here, especially since you're partly responsible for us having these series, Susan, from our
Thank
conversations.
you.
Yes. So, to start us off, Susan, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're from?
All right, my name is Susan Page. I always use my middle initial too because my name is so short. I'm very short, and um, I've spent my whole life trying to avoid looking cute. So I people tell me I look cute, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. And so I grew up in Albuquerque. I was born here. I have two sisters, one older, one younger,
Mhm.
and I left home to go to law school in St. Louis
Right.
because I got a fellowship to go there that paid for my whole way to go through school. And
Mhm.
I also worked in Washington, D.C. at the Library of Congress. No, that's not right. At the Smithsonian's library. I
Oh,
bet you
wow.
didn't even know they had a library.
No.
And then in the Senate during my last semester of law school. So I was before and after law school. And then I met a man in my last couple semesters of law school who was from St. Louis,
Mhm.
and we fell in love. And I knew I was in love with him when he took me to a wrestling match, which I hated. I really hated, but I was looking at him and he was having such a good time. And I was
Oh,
having a good time because he was having a good time. So I figured we were made for each other.
yeah.
His mother said we had to get married because we had so much in common. We both had a sister named Nancy. Now, who that was born in the 1950s did not have a sister named
Name
Nancy?
Nancy.
But anyway, it has worked out pretty well for us. We'll celebrate our 45th wedding anniversary
Oh,
this summer.
congratulations. Ah, yeah.
And we were hoping to have kids when we got married. He was born to be a father,
Mhm.
and he had a lot of nieces and nephews, so I could tell. And it took us a long time to have kids, and then our first child died when he was a baby.
Yeah.
And so then we had two more in pretty quick succession, as they refer to them in his family, Irish twins. They were 13 months apart. And then we lost another baby.
Mm.
And then we had our final child, who's now, she'll be 31 in about a month and a half. So, and I worked in different parts of New Mexico. I got back out of St. Louis. I didn't particularly want to move to St. Louis. I didn't find it the most hospitable place for an Anglo woman from Albuquerque. Like it was like I suddenly turned white. We don't say white and black in Mexico,
Right.
and so it was a weird experience. And so I was glad to get back home. And Mark moved to Hobbs to marry me, which is a little town about 4 miles from Texas, and a real old racist town. I got introduced to my very first jury panel by a judge who said, "Ladies and gentlemen, this little lady is our brand new prosecutor. Isn't she cute?"
Oh my God. Wrong thing to
So I
say.
had to get out of there, and I did. And I came up here and worked for the DA's office here for 23 years.
Oh, well.
And then after I retired to work at our university where I graduated from. And what a dysfunctional place. They couldn't even get my paycheck right. And I was only there 3 months. And a friend of mine said, you could just quit. I was like, I guess so. I had my pension by then. So I quit there and worked a couple of other jobs where I was doing phone law, giving people, you may not know, but every state in the United States has a federally funded, at least so far,
Okay.
program to help older people with their legal issues.
Oh, okay.
So I worked for LREP, which is the Lawyer Resources for the Elderly program.
Hmm.
Here, there's a Texas program called LHOT, the
Hmm.
legal hotline for older Texans, which I always like that name even better. But I had a boss who just screamed at me all the time, and I was old enough that I didn't feel that I needed that. I'd been a boss for most of my career.
Yeah.
So I left there, and then I worked for Legal Shield, and they ended up letting me go because I wasn't productive enough. That was mostly because I spent most of my time talking to the people who had serious mental illnesses,
Right.
and it's a little harder to get them to get to the point.
Right.
And since then, I've only worked. I had a job last year. I got to work the elections. Sitting there waiting for people to vote.
Hmm.
Oh, what a boring job. So anyway, I won't do that again. But it's so I've been retired almost 20 years from my real job, and over 14 from my other jobs.
Okay. Well, thank you, Susan. So, Susan, I know that obviously you're an empty nester. Your youngest child is 31 years old. So, how has your life changed when you became one? And what was your biggest challenge?
Well, it was kind of strange. My son had already moved to the East Coast and pretty much, or actually, he moved to the West Coast to go to school and then back to the East Coast. He worked on Capitol Hill for 13 years, and now he's back in school at Duke. So he was gone pretty early on, but my two daughters just basically decided to leave the house and move in, one with her boyfriend and one with a friend on
Hmm.
the same weekend, and kind of
Wow.
surprised us with that, which, my mother always said you want to raise them to grow up and leave home, and that was good, but it was kind of a surprise. And all I can conclude is that I was probably pretty difficult to live with because I have bipolar disorder,
Right.
and um, I can be a little hard to live with. Ask my husband. I got so aggravated with him yesterday that I left the house myself and went over across the street. And then we have a Whole Foods across the street. Then I went back, came back, got in my car, went to the gym to feel better,
Okay.
and went to the Dollar Tree to buy him treats and
Uh,
uh, a card that said, "I really appreciate you. I really, really do." You know, then I brought it back to him, and it can be a
uh,
little hard to live with.
yeah. Well, that was
And
nice
I
of
need to
you.
get up and go take. I've got a sensor going off here. Let me go fix that. You
Sure.
can see my pillow here. It'll show you what I really like to do. Decorate.
Read lots of books.
So those are CDs.
Oh, CDs. Very good. So can you still
But
hear
actually,
me?
what I've got,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm good. Then I have this great pillow. It's like Monument Valley.
Oh, that's beautiful. That looks like an Arizona kind of
And I
picture.
love Monument Valley. Well, these were cheap pillows at Walmart. And
Hmm.
so I bought all the ones they had. And at Christmas time, I put them in every chair in the living room. It looked crazy. I just loved it. And now I've got some of them out in the backyard because they're indoor outdoor pillows. But our whole house, we painted our house this color of blue,
Okay.
and
Aqua.
then the carport is like this orange.
Hmm.
And you have to appreciate everything in New Mexico is earth toned. So
Yeah,
we really stand out. But I'm telling you
I
what,
would
it looks
imagine.
gorgeous.
So,
Yeah, I'm a
Susan,
rose gardener, so it looks great to
y-
have them in front of the blue. But I
absolutely.
got my sensor, it was beeping. I had diabetes also, type
Ah,
2, and my blood sugar was high. But I
okay.
turned it off now, so it should
Very good.
stop
Are you okay?
going. Oh, I'm fine.
Okay,
High is
wonderful.
not a problem. Yeah.
Okay. So, what brought you to the Second Wind group, Susan?
Well, I can read you a poem about them. It's one of
Sure.
my 52-word ones.
Hmm.
I just finished it today. It's called Starting Second Wind.
Thank you.
How many come ons do you see every new year?
Oh, the,
Workshops for goal setting, moving into the next part of life, and so many of them are worthless.
yes.
So my hopes were low. Bait. Her process was great. 3 years later, she's my coach and my friend.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the internet is acting up a little bit, so I think your voice kind of went zzz for a little bit, but that's okay. So, Susan, you're a
yeah.
retired attorney, so tell me a little bit, what you miss most about law. And I know that you've written something about that, so.
Not a lot. Um, I've done when I after I retired, I still did work things, and I did a lot of clinics where I would be sitting across the table from people and just answering their legal questions. Today, I went out to lunch with a friend that I've just met. And she's a retired social worker, but has a legal case going on. And she was asking me legal questions, and I was doing the same thing with her, telling her, every legal case gets over eventually. Of course, this one's been going on for 8 years, so I can see why she's getting a little tired of it. But this is kind of what I did in those. I wrote this poem of cold hard truth. Spent hours talking to folks with hopeless legal issues. I know the law is not on their side, but
Mhm.
someone they talked to told them it was.
Right.
They spin their sad story while I think how to unwind their hope and let them down easy.
Yeah,
That's
such
kind
kind
of what it's
words.
like. I was a prosecutor. People want you, the victims of crimes, no matter how small the crime is, want you to have people taken out and shot at dawn.
Mm.
And if you don't do that, which is not legal, you can't do that. There's no death penalty in New Mexico.
Oh,
If you don't do that, they ask, or even if you did that, they say, why did you wait till the sun came up? Because the reality is what you want to have happen is for whoever's committing crimes to stop doing it
yes,
and
absolutely.
stop doing it without you having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to lock them up for the rest of their lives. That's unbelievably expensive.
Yes.
And so but I don't miss dealing with all of that. The criminal system is very friendly. You'd be surprised if what you watch on TV, because really, we all know each other. We see each other all the time. We work things out together. And it's not that where the people really fight is on the civil side, where there's a lot of money involved,
Right.
because we're only talking about people's time and what we're going to make them do, not money. And money is where people get all stressed about things.
Right.
So what I miss though about work is not being able to see my friends.
Yeah, I imagine
I
so. Yeah,
I had a lot of friends when I retired, but you don't see them once you retire.
exactly. So, Susan, how did you discover your this gift of writing?
So I went about that in my second book. That first one I showed you was out of How I Met Your, and then the second one I wrote for my best friend when she retired, and it's called
Retirement is
Retirement is Weird, Making It Up as You Go Along.
yes,
And I
absolutely.
wrote this one in that.
So
Okay,
read
reaching
us.
out.
Yes.
You have to be creative
Hmm.
to fill your calendar now and position, and you don't see each other all the time.
Hmm.
The payoff can be rich, kindling old relationships into something better, making new friends all the time,
Hmm.
bringing friends together, weaving new strands of community, making a network from independence.
Yes, very good.
But it's challenging.
It is. Tell us about your creative process and everything that yeah, tell us a little bit about that. How do you come up with so many poems?
All right. Well, I said something about literary constraint,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that I do a fair amount of is haiku, because there's a contest here in Albuquerque every year
Mm-hmm.
that combines calligraphy and poetry,
Mm-hmm.
and you submit like nature poetry. And I've just recently submitted some new ones. Um, One of them, I guess, isn't all that much about nature, but it was about outside. And my
Mm-hmm.
husband liked it so much, I just decided to put it in.
Okay.
If people don't know how haiku goes, it's 575.
Five,
And
seven,
it's
five
supposed to be a
syllables.
little bit of a twist in the last line. So
Right.
I think this one was pretty twisty. It was found in the alley, two bottles of Bacardi and a baby sock.
Yeah, very odd
Okay,
combination.
it's not the prettiest thing, but
No,
all right. But then
kind
I
of
also submitted my personal, yeah.
kind
You
of
kind of have to ask
concerning.
yourself what happened. Yeah, what happened here? Yeah. But
Right.
this one I thought this is my favorite one that I ever wrote,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote this one in 2017, so it took me a while to send this one out into the world. It's called Early Spring, and I like it because I think it's got the best contrast between a long five-syllable word and five short syllables at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes extravagantly all over town yesterday. Bright white pear trees bloomed.
See, that's a very beautiful visual. I like that. I can see
Mhm.
it. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
visual. I love it.
yeah, I
So,
really like that. And
yeah.
I'm always working on something different. I must have sitting in front of me, kind of behind my computer, probably 20, I'm trying to say 52 word poems. I found a book in a little free library about the guy who wrote 52-word poems, and that's what got me started. And I don't know if I'll ever stop. It's
Well,
kind of
what?
fun.
Yeah,
I
exactly. You don't
wrote
need
one
to.
today about
So you what?
a guy who was criticizing me, and I wrote about him. I
Oh,
just
you
kind of
did.
said, "Yeah, I'll write something about you." I won't give
And
it
you
to
did
him. Some
already?
guy he's about 10 years older than me, and
Mm-hmm.
he was selling his books, which I've already bought all of his books, and but he was thinking that he could give me a lot of personal advice about things, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what, are you my dad or something? I'm 69 years old. I'll be 76 months from now. I don't need random men, especially to tell me what I need to do about my life. So
Right.
I wrote a little poem about it. It fit with my next book that I'm working on, which is about interacting with grown ass women. I
That
say,
exactly.
like the woman from Abbott Elementary,
Right.
and my daughter-in-law and I, she's a professional writer, have created 10 commandments for
Mm-hmm.
interacting. And my favorite one is unsolicited criticism is never welcome.
That's right. I love
You
that.
know, the
So
rest of
you
them are
mentioned
kind of long and they try to explain, but that one
right.
just says short and
Exactly.
sweet. Yeah,
Exactly.
my sister likes to call that nunya. It's nunya business.
Exactly.
You know,
Thank you,
if
Susan.
somebody's running in front of a car, maybe, but otherwise,
Yeah,
we're grown ass women. We ought to be able to take care of
that's right.
ourselves.
So, Susan, you said you belong to a writing group. So, how has
I
that
do.
shaped your writing? And what would you recommend? And would you
It's good.
recommend that to an
It's
aspiring
good in the
writer?
sense. It's good in the sense that it gives me a reason to go to something. It's on a Monday morning now. Used to be Wednesdays. In
Hmm.
fact, we did a zine. I had that over here, and I can't find it here in my stack. Let me see. Oh, here we go.
Hmm.
Had a zine that we kept doing during we met during the pandemic, and this one's
Yeah,
called Wednesday's Words, a
a
quarantine,
quarantine.
and which was really cool. That's my teacher there on the back.
Hmm.
She used to teach people in the jail how to write, so she could handle us in this group because we were kind of a rowdy group. It was a mixed kind of group. You just never know who would be there,
Right.
and so it was a lot of fun. And I wrote one that they published in this little zine that we did. We write to prompts every week,
Okay.
and then you read if you want to. And then she takes them and types them up for you. That's the best part. And
Right.
so the question was write about something that you miss because of the pandemic.
Right.
So here's my poem. It's really short.
Mm-hmm.
What I miss: my friends, activity, novelty, planning, going to the library, shopping, movies, helping people, hope, my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I really did.
Right. So, Susan, you write books for your
But now
family.
I also do art, Nadine.
Oh, that is right.
Oh,
Yes. Please show us some of your artwork. And I have to say, everyone, Susan
I'm
is
getting ready to
generous
teach a
enough to
class
have
on this
done one for
because,
me.
yeah,
Susan, you did one for me. You
yeah,
sent it to
I'm
me
going
by
to.
mail. Do you
Oh,
remember?
good. I'm teaching a class. They asked me at a local Oasis to teach a class next week or next summer. So
Wonderful.
I'm going to try and figure it out. But here's one
Oh, that's the one that reminds me of the Indian
that's
marking.
done with paint sticks,
Yeah,
like little ones like kids use. And this
right,
one is done with colored pencils.
right.
Yeah. And here's and I did this one just last night after we got talked through talking. And
Okay.
then I had to write up a thing of like, how do you describe this? And what I do is, there it is. I pick out four colors at
Mm-hmm.
random,
Mm-hmm.
and then I draw some line, and then I draw three more with the other four colors, and then I draw two more sets, and then it's done. And I've done so many of these. I have so much fun with them.
I like the
But
colors in that one. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes they turn out good, and sometimes they don't. But I'm, I'm, I don't feel like publishing my books, partly because they're very personal, but
Mhm.
mostly because that would be too much work.
Yes.
My motto always was, even when I was a working woman, less
Let's
work for
work for
me.
me.
I never
I
wanted to
agree.
do stuff where I had to do a lot more work.
Yes.
And I tell my husband that I've spent 45 years trying to get, you have those jobs in your family where there's this much and that much. And I've spent 45 years trying to get the thing to go like this, where all the work goes down to him.
Yeah.
And then I build a wall and I say, what, wash dishes? Wash dishes? You
No.
know,
Yeah.
I don't remember how. I
Wow.
haven't yet been able to teach him how to iron. But, the
Oh,
good thing about ironing is while you're ironing, no one can ask you to do anything
yeah,
else.
that's right. Because you have a hot iron.
Because if they do, you have a weapon to hand.
Exactly. Oh, Susan, you're too much. So tell me, do you think you found your purpose today?
Vacuuming works the same way, but it's noisy. People still ask you to do things.
Right. So, yeah, did you hear me? I know you're freezing a little bit.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, did you hear my question? I think it's freezing a little bit. I said, what is today? What is your do you think you found your purpose? Is what I wanted to know.
Oh, well, yes, I went to a class one time at a big state conference for women in state government.
Hmm.
And I went to a class, and I thought when I got into the class, I had gone in the wrong room. So I went back out and looked at the door because it was a class about budgeting. And I
Right.
thought that would be useful. But instead, everyone was in there writing and thinking. And I was like, what? I was wanting somebody to tell me how to budget. So I went up to the teacher and said, I'm sorry, I'm late. What was it? She said, well, I asked everyone to write their purpose in life.
Hmm.
And I said, how much time do I have left? Oh, 2 minutes. So I just wrote something down real fast, and everybody went around. And she said, if you don't know what your purpose is, how can you budget your money?
True.
So what I had written down was, my purpose in life is to experience life and share it with other people.
Yeah.
And I wrote it down in 2 minutes, and I think it still works
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm really into experiencing things, and I don't like to do it by myself. So
Right. That's right. So tell me,
I had a
Susan, what
date
is
with a friend today just to to talk about her legal case, and instead we went out and listened to jazz. Then
Oh,
we
that's
talked about her legal case. You
yes,
know,
of course. So tell me,
yeah.
what's one surprising thing you've learned about yourself throughout your journey?
Well, losing two children, and
Oh,
I lost my parents both to suicide.
yeah,
So, with all of that, and myself with all the disabilities I have, what I've learned is I can survive anything.
absolutely.
I don't like to, but I can, and that's a good thing to know.
Yeah, you're a picture
It's
of
hard to have
resilience.
as many. Yeah, it's hard to have all the painful things happen to you, but the good. I always say the good thing about losing two children is you do know you'll survive. The
Yeah,
worst part of it is you know it'll never get better.
right, right. Well, thank you for that. So, Susan, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about dreams. How do you feel about dreams? How important is it to have one?
I think it is, but I'm very flexible. Life has taught me to be flexible because my life has been more like nightmares. People think I'm real upbeat, and I'm funny, but I'm not real upbeat. I have bipolar disorder, and
Right.
I have bipolar 2, which tends to be much more depression and never really, I've only been manic once. I'm hypomanic, but I've never
Hmm.
been that high. So
Hmm.
I'm down in the dumps most of the time.
Hmm.
But I'm flexible. We just figured out a chance after we had the fight yesterday. We
Hmm.
figured out when we're going to be able to take a trip together. So
Yes.
I suggested we go down to Mexico and go to Copper Canyon. My husband said, "Why don't we go to Arkansas?" So I said to him today, "Well, what do you think? What do you want to do?" And he wrote it down. He says, "I want to go to Arkansas." I said, "Fine, let's go to Arkansas."
Hmm.
So my dream is to travel with this man that I love. I don't care where we go.
That sounds so
So,
romantic. I love that
and
dream.
I enjoy making friends with people, and some of them turn out great, and some of them, I don't know how they have lived long enough. They're so pathetic.
Oh my
You remember the
God.
old Mary Tyler Moore show where they called Georgette a Phoebe? Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are like that, but I think I'm helping them,
Okay.
because they,
Yeah.
they really need help. And, I spent a lot of time working with people who needed help. But
Yes.
I realize I'm not a social worker. I'm not a therapist. What do I
Right.
know? I'm just a fellow traveler in this world of suffering.
Yeah.
But, you find out who's had a hard time and you're there with them.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So if you were to give one piece of advice to the women of the second wind community, what would it be, Susan?
It would be keep trying things, and I have something to share on that. Where did I put it? Oh my gosh. I, in my, there we go. I wrote it in my writing group 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
just knowing we were going to do this.
Oh,
And I
thank you.
decided this was the perfect way to close this
Yes, thank you. Read it
because
for us.
it is about you. It's called Nadine,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it shows literary constraint
Mm-hmm.
because it's a Fibonacci sequence poem.
Okay.
Now, I'm not good with numbers. I always say if I was good with numbers, I could have been an engineer. If I was nice, I could have been a social worker. Okay. But I was kind of a generalist, so I had to be a lawyer. But it means that you start with like one word, then you add those two words, then three words, then five. And anyway, the furthest I got before doing this one was 21.
Okay.
But with yours, I got up to 34.
Well, thank
All
you. I'm
right. So
flattered.
here's how it goes.
Yes.
Nadine, life changer. That's why I've called her my life coach for years. We met in her New Year's resolution workshop 3 years ago. Her process led scattered me to focus in the chaos of the post lockdown world.
Mm-hmm.
And though I haven't followed through on every idea, her guidance and friendship have pulled me forward into the new world we share. Authors and grandmothers exploring the world using technologies. She has made a meeting place of strangers. I'm proud to be her friend.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Well, so that's going to wrap up our interview for tonight, Susan. I'm so glad that you were
All right.
here. Like I said, so for those of you who will be checking out the replay tonight, I'll be dropping Susan's contact card in the post of the replay. Please reach out to Susan. Like she said, she likes making friends, and
I'd
you'll
love
love
to hear
having
from you.
her.
All
Yes,
right.
you love having her. So thank you, Susan. And I wanted to invite everyone to watch the replay either inside the Second Win Facebook group, inside the featured section, or on our new YouTube channels, because we do have a YouTube channel now. And I hope
Oh,
to see,
wonderful.
yes, it is. I'll send you the link. And I hope to see all of you next Friday, February 3rd, 13th. That's Friday the 13th, for part three of our series when we welcome our next guest, Melanie Kitson. So until then, good night, everyone. And like we like to say at Second Wind, keep dreaming big. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.
All right.